Unsyndicated presents What the Puck with Sean Baligian.
How's your day going? He's Mike. Did you like that? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was for both of you. Yeah. How's your day going? Everything well? He's Mike. I'm Sean. We're going early this week because we're going to be really busy tomorrow night. We are going to number one versus number two in the state in high school hockey. One would think that it would be either the semifinal or the final at USA Hockey Arena, but it is not. It is a regional final, and it's inexcusable, and it infuriates me. And if I don't stop talking about it right now, Mike, I'm going to blow a gasket. I'm just going to say it shouldn't happen, and we'll leave it at that. So we're going a day early today. Hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy, how's it going? And I agree with you. We'll lay hands off of that one because it feels like it's a pressure cooker all over the place, waiting to explode. So let's just get on to what we're going to get on to.
Yeah. So we haven't had a chance to talk yet. Shep and I talked a little bit about it. The aftermath of putting the bow on what was a tremendous tournament, the Four Nations. It is funny. I had this conversation with a few people. I said it on a few of the different media outlets that I work. And then even on the show yesterday, it was funny how many people reached out to me. And Mike, coincidentally, the one thing they all have in common is they're all Toronto Maple Leaf fans. And it's really funny that predominantly only the Maple Leaf fans are trying to tell me that Austin Matthews really wasn't at fault on that last goal. You and I know otherwise. Lose the draw. That was fault number one. Fault number two is not picking up your man. That's something you should do. It all began and quite frankly ended there. But overall, Mike, I mean, what more could you ask for? Honestly, as a hockey fan, what more could you ask for?
Nothing more. It was way more than I thought it was going to be. You know what my worry was, that it was going to be an exhibition. It was going to be a scrimmage. We weren't going to have guys going all out, and they proved me wrong on that. And as far as the Matthews play, I mean, the only person that's happy about that play that's an American is Brian Rafalski, because no one's thinking about Rafalski leaving Crosby alone in 2010 now. So, but that's Maple Leaf fan for you.
It is so funny, Mike. You and I were talking about this the last time out. I told you I had Henry, you are not late. Welcome in. Mike, I told you point blank here. I said it on Woodward. I said it in numerous places. I was getting strong 2010 vibes. And as fate would have it, it is amazing how life sometimes works itself out. A 2-goal win by the Americans in the prelims in the 2010 Olympics, and a 3-2 overtime loss when it counted against Canada both times. Just unbelievable. But quite frankly, that was the vibe that I was getting. And the much maligned Jordan Binnington, let's give him props. Mike, it was shades of 2019 Stanley Cup and him putting a show on in Boston.
I mean, you hit it right there with that word. He put on an absolute show. He stole that game. And it was just like Game 7 in Boston all over again. And people all over social media were owing him apologies. I'm one that owes him an apology. I doubted him. I downplayed him. You can't pay for that experience that he had from that Game 7, that Stanley Cup championship. Now, Connor Hellebuyck, guys, He still does not have that win. That's enough to convince you that Jets can get over the hump this year. So that's going to be a tough one. There's a lot of teams in there, be it Maple Leaf fan or be it Jets fan, that kind of took a little bit of a hit this weekend during that tournament.
I want to ask your thoughts because Shep and I don't want to say we quote unquote got into it yesterday, but we disagreed on something yesterday. The experiences you and I talked about day one, this was going to be great for Dylan Larkin. I think Dylan Larkin kind of took a strange shot when he made the comment about players going to play at the World Championship, Mike. And here's why I think it was a strange shot. It's easy for Dylan Larkin to say, and I'm not being a jerk when I say this. It's easy for Dylan Larkin to say when he hasn't experienced National Hockey League playoffs. It's easy for him to call out other guys. It's easy for him to say, you should be there, you should be there, you should be there. The biggest problem with the World Championship and why even the hockey elites like you and I don't take it that seriously is a vast majority of players, Americans, Canadians, Russians, when they're allowed to play, whoeverins, are playing in the Stanley Cup playoff. And I kind of thought, that was kind of naive of Dylan to make that comment. And who exactly is he talking to? And B, Mike, how often have we seen it? A dude gets bounced, say, March 14th. He just went through a war. He just went through maybe a 6-game war, a 7-game war, and the tournament's already been underway for 4 or 5 days, and he's supposed to drop everything, emotionally drained, beat to shit. He's supposed to drop everything and fly over to Helsinki or wherever the case may be. I thought it was a strange shot for Dylan Larkin to take. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, it seems like it's the same old, the same group of guys that go over there and play every year, whether it's the teams that never make the playoffs or whether it's the teams that are out early. A lot of the big stars obviously don't make it over there. I like your point. I didn't even think about it in that term, Sean, as far as he's never made the playoffs. So that's kind of a big shot for him to take. As soon as he said that, my first thought in my head was he's politicking for captain. He wants to be Captain America. He wants to be the captain, and that's him standing up and putting that challenge out to guys. And I'm going to be there. I know I'm going to be there for at least the next couple of years. I don't see a deep run for the Wings. And not only does he see that, Sean, but he sees in a couple of years, we've got the Olympics coming up. In a couple of years, we have the World Cup coming up after that. Like there's events coming up. He wants that C on his chest. I saw it as politicking, but I do like your angle because I never thought like, yeah, who is he to say that? Who's he talking to? A guy that's battling for the Stanley Cup, something he has no idea what it is?
I thought it was a weird shot to take. Like this is one of those, but I get it. To the guys that legitimately could make it. If you're bounced in the first round, okay, you heal up in a week. You heal up maybe in 2 weeks, depending on when the series ends. And the bell rings, I think it starts this year, May 11th, okay? Well, you've been out for 10 to 14 days, okay? 10 to 14 days, you've been out. Yeah, why not go play at the World Championship? I get it, okay? But I think to make a blanket statement like that to a lot of guys, Mike, that's the second round of the playoffs. A lot of those guys are still playing. And conversely, a lot of those guys are, even if they're bounced out, like I said, you're already 2 or 3 games into the World Championship. You're beat up mentally. You're beat up physically. I think Dylan was talking about that which he did not know of. And it was just kind of weird to hear him say that. And, of course, I know here in Detroit, you're going to have people like, Eric, who said Larkin is the man. Hold on. Larkin is the man. Larkin, Michigan man, Michigan hockey man, Captain America Larkin. I know that Larkin could say that he hates puppy dogs and freedom. And people like Eric would say Michigan man, hockey man, Red Wing man, all that stuff. I'll take him on my team. He was off base in his comments. Period. It was a weird comment to make, especially, when you got a guy like Matthew Tkachuk on your team who literally spits blood and gives up livers and things like that. It was a weird shot to take.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone said anything to him about that, if he even thought about it in that light. That I love the point that you brought up. I never thought of that, and that is something. It's something he's got to think about, whether he wants to be captain or not. You got to watch out who you're calling and who you're calling out and why you're calling them out. It's a great point.
No, and no disrespect to the guy. I think that, Mike, that would be what I would say to Dylan. I would say very respectfully, Mr. Larkin, sir, I hope that changes this year, but it's easy for you to say when you've never played in the playoffs in your career. Okay, go play in a playoff series or two, go through the war that is, and then try to tell me after that, yeah, you should get your butt over there. I thought it was a weird shot to take, Mike. That's all. Thought it was a weird shot today.
And I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Henry said the crowd at the Sioux Greyhounds game was unbelievable the day after Canada beat the U.S. in overtime. Oh, I'm sure it was. Oh my gosh, that's after one of the World Juniors. I think we were in Windsor one night, and the reaction that all the kids got coming home with the gold was unbelievable. I mean, it was like the barn shook. Like it was really funny. Maz said Mike is going to owe another apology when CC takes down Heartland in their own barn. Just saying.
No apologies will be needed. I have been contacted by CC parents, and they saw my points that I have made, Sean. You know the points that I'm making with this, and they also appreciated that I have CC favored in this game, and there's no doubt about it. But to sit here and say that there's no pathway to that Heartland victory is just a mistake. But that's not where we're going. But we will see. We will see if I apologize.
I think it's Larkin's. I think it's Dylan's desire to win something. He wants to play on the best possible team and bring home goal. The guy wants to win more than anything and will do anything it takes. And David, same thing. No disrespect. I agree with you. And I said at the beginning of this tournament, the people that were crying about his role on this tournament, it was weird. He was going to become a better player. But I hope anybody who at least follows international hockey a little bit knows that the timing of the World Championship isn't conducive for teams that make the playoff. That is not a shot against the Red Wings. That is a factual statement. It is not conducive for teams that make the playoff, especially those teams, as you said, David, that have a real good chance of winning or have a chance to win multiple series, right? If you go play two series, Connor Hellebuyck wins the first round, goes to the second round, Mike, goes to 7 games. Well, that series is over what? May 16th, May 17th, May 18th. The World Championship is already underway for a week. You have less than a week left in that. So am I to say, Connor, you just played 10,000 games during the year. You're beat up because, again, people are saying you can't win the big one. Jump on a plane and go fly over to Helsinki to play. I thought it was a weird shot for Dylan Larkin to take. I think anybody else would, too. And a weird shot.
Yeah, and I think anybody listening, what they have to stop and think is, you're just saying, listen to what he said in that moment. We're not questioning him being on the team or his effort during the tournament or the type of player he is. It's that comment in that context that he said that's in question. That is it.
Dave said February 1st, thought on Wings. We did now. What's the March detail? We got a shot to make the tournament. Got to pick it up. No doubt about it. Mike, I stand by what I said. Oh, absolutely, positively. They got an absolute legitimate shot to make the playoff. There's no guarantee. I think this weekend series with Columbus is huge. Somebody joked to me, is this the Ottawa series of a couple of years ago? You know, where one team went like this and the other team went like that type of situation. But no, David, you're right. Mike, you and I talked about that all through January. Let's wait and see what this looks like leading up to the Four Nations. And how can you complain? And Mike, I don't care what anybody says. The 3 out of 4 points on the weekend as well. I can live with both collapses. I can live with both collapses. When you collect 3 out of 4 points and you have teachable moments and pick up 3 out of 4 points, I can absolutely positively live with that.
Yeah, in context to when those collapses happened, the first 2 games back after a 2-week break, totally understandable. Those can't happen going forward and in big moments, let's say, in 3 weeks from now. But I have faith. Coach McClellan has fixed everything that's ailed this team basically since he's got here. Even the penalty kill, which is not great, is better than it was. this team's playing better all over. I see that getting fixed real quick, or you don't have a chance. You cannot collapse. You cannot play not to lose. You can't lose your edge and your aggression when going into the third period. You have to play your game.
Tim asked, should somebody have been on the team over Larkin? If so, who? No. Mike, I don't know what no. He absolutely belonged on that team. And quite frankly, he belonged in the role that he served as well.
And he did it well. He played well. I mean, he was one of their more offensive forwards that they had going in that time. And the only question I had from that was the having Kreider in and Connor out in the final game would be the only thing that I question on that one. But Dylan Larkin, no way.
Eric, you are the best. You chirped at me for 5 minutes, Captain America, Michigan America, everything. And now I've asked repeatedly, what did Dylan Larkin say when the entire time we were talking about it? I don't. God bless you, buddy. Dave said the home game against the Blue Jackets is a big game. Win takes the pressure off for needing to beat Columbus outdoors where anything can happen. Yeah, you know what? We'll see. It's going to be huge. I think it's going to be fun, because the Bruins are going to play with pride. This is, Mike, the term is they've begun their initial descent. You know that they're going to fight till the very end, even with some pretty big injuries. We'll see what kind of fight the Rangers have. I still contend they're Charmony soft. Does another team come from the pack and make things interesting? Mike, are you looking at this? Are you looking at that? Does another team make things interesting? I don't think so. Does Columbus make things interesting? It's going to be fun. There's no guarantee. Eric, it's okay. That's you were chirping at me, though. We were telling you exactly what he was saying. So that's why I was like, dude, whatever. It's all good. And that's what's going to make it fun, Mike.
All right, yeah, and I think the one that I'm really interested in seeing, and not just for betting purposes, is what is Boston going to do? They've got some big decisions by how they play within this next week to guys that are going to be coming and guys that are going to be going. That's going to be very interesting if they sell out. And then as we've talked about schedule-wise with how tough Detroit's schedule is, Sean, and I'm not just saying this because you're my guy, I'm very interested in watching Montreal going forward. They have one of the softest schedules to end this year.
We'll see. I liked what I saw the other night. I didn't expect that, as you and I were talking about. You came in with the gambling edge, and Mike, recent history, even with Brady Tkachuk out, Ottawa's had their number. It's really weird. And I caught the end of that after I left the hockey game in Livonia, and they played well. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Listen, I gotta take care of some business though, because Mike, we have so much to do. I have a mea culpa. Moz was giving you the hassle. I have a mea culpa after I do this read.
I like it.
All right. I was wrong. When it comes time to get yourself a house, whether you're buying or selling, you need to contact the right agent. Who do we recommend? That would be right there. Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the main streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business, and when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, even first-time buyer. Doesn't matter. Make sure you contact Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. We're going to get into the wings and what the Husso move means and what it might mean moving forward. I'm going to tell you again, anybody who tells you that they know what Steve Yzerman is doing is lying and don't pay any attention to them. That's my public service announcement. Mike, I didn't think that Alexander Ovechkin 2 years ago, last year, or 6 months ago was going to beat Wayne Gretzky's record. It is a foregone conclusion. It's over. The only question I have left, Mike, is does it happen before the end of this season? And I think it does.
Yeah, the betting numbers would tell you that. Even the experts are going to tell you that it is. And it seems like it's coming back from this break with the hat trick, and it's only a matter of time before he gets 6 more empty net goals. I think that's the only question in my mind is it an empty net goal that that he beats the record or ties the record on, because he seems to be eating them up this year. Now, I know 2 years ago, I don't even know if I was thinking about it. I know last year me and you had several conversations that it looked like the legs were gone. Everything was gone on poor Ovi. We were very sad. And what is happening this year, Sean, can be described almost as a miracle. The way he's turned it. The guy broke his freaking leg. Sean, he came back from a disastrous season to be on fire. And we were like, oh my, he breaks his leg. He comes back even better. He's like the freaking Terminator. Are you kidding me right now? Yes, I wish I listened to myself and took him to beat the record against the Jets, because at that time it was 125-1. It's all the way down to 25-1.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Major props. Even when Fat Ovi showed up in the summer and you and I were dying at those pictures, I mean, he had a blower and a half. I was like, there is no way this guy is going to break this record. Yeah. Age, the slow start, the busted leg. And dude, are you kidding me? Like, honestly, mad respect. Mad respect. Again, where do we put him? Where do we put him in the pantheon of things? I'm not going to say he's one of the best players I ever saw. I have to say he's one of the best goal scorers I ever saw.
Yeah, I've made the statement that, I mean, is he one of the best players, period? No, but I've seen him play one of the best games I've ever seen in his rookie year. I told you, he was either creating a scoring chance for himself, creating a scoring chance for somebody else, or he drew a penalty every time that guy was on the ice. But I know someone else I have respect for, which is Todd. And if there's one thing Todd could do if he's listening in the background is pull that picture of Ovi on the beach, because you just have to look at it and say, that guy's going to score his 895th goal this year. 895.
Fat Ovi. Please get Fat Ovi from this past summer. It was just it was magnificent. It went like, honest to goodness. It was like, come on, the dude's in worse shape than both of us. And here he is doing Ovi things. Dave said, could one of your Habs be a fit in a trade to fill Cop's spot? And watch all the Cop haters come out and say, if we only had him, we would have made the playoffs. The Habs are in a similar position. So I think if Steve Yzerman does anything, we'll make the transition. If Steve Yzerman does anything, Mike, I think it's going to be for picks, because you know as well as I do, if I'm an opposing general manager, and Steve Yzerman calls me, I'm asking for things that Steve Yzerman is not going to want to give up. I'm not asking for anything else. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. When me and you were talking about the show earlier today, I just went and made a list of what I would be asking for, because what the Wings don't have right now, they don't have a ton of picks. Their first round picks aren't as sexy as they used to be. What is it going to be, about 19th or 20th right now? Not so good. Only one other second round pick. Now, the one that would interest me is Tarasenko. Is there enough interest in someone taking a Stanley Cup winner and doing something with? But other than that, if Steve's coming to me and saying, hey, Mike, I need this top six winger, I'll tell you, I've got the list right here of guys that I'm going to call, and there's no way you're giving up any of those guys.
No, that's exactly. And Tarasenko is the one that, and this goes back to what we talked about. And Ben said Tarasenko is likely on the block. This goes back to what we talked about last spring. I loved Tarasenko going to Florida. Loved it. You're not asking him to do much. Hey, go be a body. We think the Rangers are Charmony soft, and you're 6'1", 225-pound frame. We don't expect too much from you. We think those days are over, and they were right. But you know what? That big body is going to cause havoc for the Charmony soft Rangers. And that's what was perplexing, Mike, from day one. I remember I was in L.A. when they signed Tarasenko, and you and I were texting each other, and I said, okay, make this one make sense to me. Like 4.75 for a guy that you're not in the position that the Florida Panthers were. I thought that was a miss by Steve Yzerman. But again, to Ben's point and what we were talking about earlier, what is a team going to give up for Tarasenko? You're not giving up a prospect. You're giving up picks, right? Yeah, exactly. You're giving up picks.
You're going to give up a third rounder. That's about it. Because what he's going to do is he's going to go to a contender and he's going to be that third line winger that they need to be that body. That's it. That's going to get you maybe a third round pick. Yeah. But then again, this guy just got rid of Husso too. That contract. I mean, who the heck knows it? Who else owes this guy a favor?
Yeah. No doubt about that. Listen, I gotta hit something else right now. Did you know that thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance? Todd and I were both talking to our buddy Dave today. Our friends at Legacy Partners are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Now, Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. Yes, don't we all want a bit of this? Help save you some money. Chances are, if you haven't checked your policies in the last year, you're paying too much and you could be underinsured. So what are you waiting for? Give Legacy Partners a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollment, or your business insurance needs. Call them today at 586-209-4106 or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started with your new quotes. Mike, the move of Husso means nothing to me. He wasn't in their plans the rest of this year. He wasn't in their plans in the future. You got it. There it is. I don't even have to finish the sentence. That's all that was. It creates some money. It makes me think, okay, perhaps Steve has something up his sleeve. Perhaps Mike Iavasile just disappeared for no reason, and I have no idea why. But with that being said, Mike, hold on. Ask and ye shall receive.
Yes.
Oh, Todd, do you have something for us?
Yeah. How many Coors Lights did he just smash?
That is magnificent. I don't care what anybody says. That is absolutely magnificent. Come on. What's the term? What do the kids say? What do the kids say, Mike? He's living his best life.
Oh God, yes.
Look at that. What the kids say?
Oh, he's waiting on about 13 hot dogs, a couple of Coors Light to chase him down. He's loving it. Look at that. What better life? Look at him.
God bless him. God bless him. Seriously. Frees up money and allows Gibson to be moved from Anaheim. Ben, that's exactly what it is. But this is where the wheels start turning. What does Steve have planned? What does Steve have planned? Now, don't get me wrong. Steve has shown in the past, that he can fleece people, okay? But I think word is out on that. Does that make sense? I think word is out that Steve is looking to fleece somebody. So with that being said, I contend I don't think this will be a major move. And I always, Mike, I've done this for years, going back to when I did the show Ice Time, and we played a little silly game called You Be the GM, okay? I would always tell people, make me your offer, and I'll be the opposing GM, right? And I can't tell you how many times I hung up on somebody. So now what I do is I say, I want you to flip the script. You're proposing a trade to the Habs. He brought up the Habs. You're proposing a trade to the Habs. Well, who do you want? Who do you want from the Habs? That's question number one. Question number two, if I'm the brain trust in Montreal, okay, you know what I'm saying? Which one of your young players who aren't quite ready for prime time, which one of your young players can I take? Oh, I'm intrigued. Mike has writing, so I'm intrigued.
This is the list right here, Sean. At me and you sitting in Montreal, and we're getting ready to call Steve back. We're asking for one or two of these names: Nate Danielson, Casper, Axel Sandin Pelly. What is up with Sweden in three names? Michael Nygaard, blah Nygaard, whatever. Max Plant, Augustine. This Bucha Nekalekov in the KHL. Wallander, Byam. I mean, those are your names of your top 10 guys, basically, that they're all going to want no matter. So they said Evans, right? They want Evans. You're giving up one of these guys. Which one of them?
That's especially a guy that's come on late in the year. I mean, he really has. He's played really well. He's played that two-way role so well. And they've got an embarrassment of riches. Mike, the only thing that I would say, as crazy as it sounds, some of the defensemen, do the Habs need them?
I'm
not even being funny. I'm not even being funny. I mean, when you take a look at what they have right now, and then you got Logan in the system, and a couple guys that are young that aren't even really seeing a lot of time right now. That's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, there is, and the things that people need to think about when you name names like Evans is there's 8 other teams willing to give up more than you're going to give up.
Yep. That's exactly it. So what do you think it'll be? I don't think it'll be anything major. I think you're probably, maybe you ship a body away. Maybe you ship a pick away. The people that are thinking that he's going to shake the tree, I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, if you can somehow, because right now, Sean, when I'm looking at it, the writing is on the wall of the future. And I'm not talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about the next 2 years. Right? You got your coach, seemingly. We're saying right now, we've got a coach that's turning around, guys want to play for. We have some riches down here and these young kids that are going to be coming. What do we need to do? Just like he did with Husso. Let's make that contract disappear. Let's make a couple of these contracts disappear. And maybe I'm going to attach a pick with that guy to get nothing back, so that we end up having some cap space. That's what I'm thinking the play is, because the guys that have contracts, Sean, they're not going to hurt you if they go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Comfort's not going to hurt you if he goes. Rasmussen's not going to hurt you if he goes. I mean, these are all contracts that are sitting there that in the long run, we got enough of guys like that. We really, really do. We need some top-end guys, and we need to free up space for the next 2 years.
Ben said, couldn't you give up a Veleno instead of Danielson? You could plug Danielson in Veleno's role next season and allow him to grow in real time on the 3rd and 4th line. I would just say this to that, okay? You guys know it's lying season, right? Even if I loved Joe Veleno, do you know what I would say? I'm telling you this, and I guarantee you this is how the conversation is going to go. Steve, that's a first-round pick that never happened for you guys. He's going to be 25, or he is 25 years old. Steve, basically you're trying to sell me a 4th-line 25-year-old. Even if I loved him. And quite frankly, Mike, I don't know if you feel the same way. Veleno kind of came on this year more than I thought he would. I was bust. He's never going to be the 30th overall pick. We all know that, okay? But I would lie through my teeth and go, Steve, baby, honey, your 25-year-old former first-round pick. It hasn't worked. I'll give you a 3rd-round pick. That's what I would do. I don't think Veleno would fetch a lot on the open market. Does that make sense?
I would take that. If you're going to give me a 3rd-round pick for Veleno, I'll take that because I can get another 4th-line center in the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And maybe I can get a flyer on some guy over in the SHL or KHL that is going to be can come in a couple of years. So I would take that. But yeah, Veleno's other, and Danielson's this guy that's got to be one of those again at the bottom worst. He's the middle 6, and he's got to be a top 6. If these are the picks that have to hit for Yzerman to be the Yzer plan to work out.
No, and that's what we're saying. You're just not going to get a lot. You're a 3rd-round pick, and I think a lot of people are asking for more. You know what I mean? I think that's what a lot of people, they're thinking, okay, let's make a move that can improve our chances to get in the playoff and improve our chances in this playoff. And this is where I go back and I remind everybody, and Ben, I'm certainly not pointing at you in this regard. This is where I go back and remind everybody, don't forget what Steve Yzerman said. The goal isn't just to make the playoff. The goal is to, period, end of story, get back to that point of really competing. You know what I mean? Competing hard. Because, you know what? At this point in time, Veleno's just not going to fetch you much. He's just not. He's 25 years old. He was, 30th overall? Was he 30th overall? He's just not going to fit you, and guys are going to lie. So, that's interesting how it goes. Mike, I'm going to ask you again, and Ben, you get it. Detroit is honestly a year or two away, no doubt. Really, I mean, truly, it'd be fun to make the playoffs this year. I want to go down to that plaza more than anything. Mike, I'm serious, because both you and I have been to Toronto, and I had a chance to go to Montreal, how they have those outdoor plazas. I swear to God, I don't even want to go to the game. You know what? I think it'd be fun. Mike, let's grab a few beers and just go hang out in that plaza all day watching the hockey game. I think that would be fun. You know what I mean?
I'm in. There's some restaurants and a casino right nearby too. We could make a day of it, son.
Did you just call me? Did you call me?
I got all sentimental with you. Like,
okay.
we're gonna go downtown. We're gonna have a couple beers. It's like date night.
It wouldn't be the first time either. Hey, if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by those two guys with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are, and that's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. Now, whether you're saving for retirement, getting ready to sell your company, you're already in retirement, it doesn't matter. These guys can help you and will help you through every step of your financial journey, as they've done for me and my family. They work with clients throughout all stages of life. They have clients in over 20 different states. The investment world is a complex one. And if you're ready to start taking charge of your finances and taking your finances more seriously and making your money work for you, it's time to work with the experts. Reach out to my buddies right there, the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574, or visit their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Let's see, a couple other. At what age point are guys past their prospect phase and they just are what they are? It's really, that's a great question, because Cornstalker, I was very fortunate to work in the OHL for many years and the USHL. And the one thing that every single scout can agree on, 100%, and this might be the only thing they can agree on, is no two prospects have the same path. Every path is different. Okay, there have been late bloomers, there have been these, there have been that, et cetera, et cetera. To your question, Cornstalker, I think, just one man's opinion, I think when guys get to 24 years old, that's when you say, okay, this is just what he is. Now, that doesn't mean that a guy can't go. I'll give you a perfect Michael Ryder. Michael Ryder just started scoring goals. And he kept scoring goals. Now, again, Mike, as you remember, Michael Ryder wasn't exactly a stud, but he was what they refer to as a late bloomer, and he started popping goals and everything. So, no two are the same, but you're talking 23 going into 24. That's when you start to. I hate to tell you this, guys. Joe Veleno is what he is. He is never going to be a first-round draft pick. It's never, ever going to happen. Okay, like, he is what he is, and he's got value, but his value would probably be better someplace else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and his value would go up if you package something with it. But I agree with you right about that age, Sean. The crazy thing is, you just got to be able to have enough tape on a guy to see it too, because these guys that they don't get that chance. They don't get that chance. You just never know, but just for whatever reason, it never works out. The world's full of a ton of those guys that never got out of the AHL and never got their cup of coffee. Joe Veleno's got enough games on tape to know exactly what we have.
He'll be around. Yeah. He's not going to fetch a lot.
No.
If a general manager loves him, if I'm the general manager, I lie to Steve, really.
Yeah. And again, this is another thing, just like the Larkin comments, to take it within the context of what we're saying here. We're not saying he's not an NHL player. We're talking about his value on the market. That's it.
Yep. Mike, did you see this comment? Please tell me you remember this. I know you got a bad memory, but please tell me you remember this. Ray said Detroit, Toronto would be awesome. Bring fans back to the early 90s playoffs. Borashevsky, 93.
Overtime.
We were together.
Did I get it?
You did. Congratulate. We watched that game together. Isn't that funny? Borishevsky in Game 7 back in '93.
Why do I think Foligno had the assist? Did I get this totally wrong? Was that way past his prime, or was that another?
I think he was probably gone by then. I could be wrong. Maybe we can look at
I feel like that's way too late for him. I feel like he had an assist in a game. But that, again, we've been watching frickin' hockey for so long.
I was convinced that Toronto and Habs were the final. I was convinced. And then the Kings pulled that upset. And I told you, sorry to name drop, Chris Osgood and I have talked about this many, many times. I say to people all the time, do you know the last time Montreal, Detroit faced each other in the playoff? 1978. What a crying shame. Like, think about that. What an absolute crying shame. My goodness gracious, you know? Oh, he's saying Foligno did assist on that, right? Mike, wow.
Did I?
Wow. Wow. Did he really?
I don't know what's more amazing, me remembering anything about that, or I nailed that. I don't know. That was pretty big. That was an upset.
No, that was that Game 7, wasn't that? I think it was on a Friday night, wasn't it? I think it was a Friday night, and you and I were watching it. And you know the funny thing about that was one of the rare times that you and I didn't eat like pigs, because I like vividly I remember we didn't have any money that night, which was a common occurrence back then. We didn't have a lot of money a lot of times, you know?
Well, but it wasn't often that Mr. Ilitch led us astray like that. Mr. Ilitch usually put a couple dollars in our pocket. It's the truth, guys. We could tell you the times that Mr. Ilitch.
I wasn't working there, Mike. By then, unfortunately, I had been let go. No, he did not get the assist. I just looked it up. It was Rouse and Gilmore.
Close.
Yeah.
Gilmorino. Come on.
It was Rouse. It was Bob Rouse and Doug Gilmore. I just looked that up. So
it was one of those that it flashed in my brain, but I'm like, that's way past his time, isn't it?
See, now I love doing things like this. I love doing things like that. He stuck around for a long time, but I don't think he was a Leaf at that point in time. Oh, he was.
Okay.
He was on the Leafs. Yes, he was a Leaf at that time, but he did not get an assist on that goal. According to NHL.com, it was Gilmore. Look at you, love dogs. You absolutely love dogs. It was Gilmore and Rouse that got the assists on that goal. Who are you saying? Could Leno be the Red Wings who does what Tigers players do? Leave team and finally live up to the potential given proper ice time. Are you talking about Veleno? No. You watch enough hockey. I'm not being mean to the guy. Like it probably is coming across that like we're taking shots at him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a role in the National Hockey League. He's just not. No.
He's closer to the bottom six than he is the top six.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's making $2.28 million a year to play hockey. The guy has that. But when we were talking about if you were to call and say, hey, Sean, I'm going to give you Veleno. What are you going to give me? Third or fourth round pick.
It's lying season. Really, it is. It's lying season. I'd lie through my teeth. I know what his value is. Yeah. If I love the guy, why would I give you more when I could get him for less? You know what I mean? And that's what Stevie, baby, honey. Okay, I guess I'll take him for a fourth rounder. You know, something like that.
And not only that, Sean, you kind of you could get the same thing for less, because this is another thing. There's a whole bunch of Joey Velenos in the NHL that someone's going to be willing to give them up for what I want because they want to, let's say, dump a contract or something. So that's kind of where he falls into. There's bottom six guys all over the place.
Slavkovsky with a goal and Laine with a goal. The Habs have a 2-0 lead. They never beat Carolina. Mike, They never beat Carolina. Just like they never beat Ottawa the other night.
I see what you're doing.
Carolina.
I see what you're doing.
I am convinced they have not beat Carolina in 38 years. When Carolina didn't even exist. That's the last time they beat them. Okay?
Okay.
Are you surprised Husso was the odd man out? Absolutely not. You know how this is going to work. It's going to be Lyon and Talbot, which is going to beget Sebastian, which is, I've said this for a year and a half, and I'll continue to say it. Eventually, the starting goaltender for this Red Wing team, when they are really good, will be Trey Augustine. I'm convinced of it, and you can't convince me otherwise. How's that? All right, we got to get out of here. Mike, one more read. All About Catering, LLC. Full service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for, from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. So don't sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today to see their menus and all their 5-star reviews. Give them a call, 586-731-1398 to get your event started. Mike, one last thing. I'm putting you on the spot. You are Mr. Gambler. You are Mr. Odds. What would you put the percentile or the odds that the Red Wings make the playoff?
I would put that at right now about a minus 120. A slight favorite on there. The only reason I wouldn't put it any higher is because of the difficulty of that schedule. And that's without me looking. I don't have any of the pros on my hand. I've got it as a slight favorite. I like the way they're playing, everything that's happening. The schedule is what's working against them.
That's exactly the way I feel. I think that's just a brutal, brutal schedule. Todd, thank you. Mike, thank you. Thanks to all you guys. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
What the Puck with Sean Baligian. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Always Pushing Forward by Elliot Middleton. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the Unsyndicated Podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the Unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.